and I was in a park and I was boxing with a guy, and this guy comes by and he goes, "Oh, you look like you know how to put your hands. You look like you know what you're doing with your hands." He goes, "I'm a professional wrestler. I'd like to invite you to Tijuana to watch a wrestling match." And I was like, "This guy trying to pick me up?" And so he goes, "You like boxing, right?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "What do you think of?" He started to name all these Mexican champions: Salvador Sanchez, Julio Cesar Chavez. I go, "Bro, those guys are great." He goes, "Well, come to Mexico. I want to show you some of the best Mexican wrestlers." He goes, "As a matter of fact, I'm the world champion." And he opens up his trunk and he shows me his championship belt. And I was like, wow. And he was limping at the time. And I was like, "Why are you limping?" And he says, "Well, I got into a fight in the dressing room and I got hurt." He goes, "But I'm going to be back." But he goes, "I'm going to train you." So
because he saw you in the park.
Yeah, right. So he brings me to the show and I get there. And you got to remember, I grew up watching NWA and WWE. Never really seen guys with the masks. I'd seen Mil Mascaras, but that's like one guy out of everybody. All these guys had masks. I saw very, very young Eddie Guerrero, a very young Negro Casas, and I was mesmerized, bro, by the capes, by the masks, by what they were doing, the ferocity of the crowd. It was just electric to me. And I was like, wow, this is really cool, So we go back to the dressing room and he introduces me to the promoter. And at that time, I was a bodybuilder. I was pretty big. And they were like, he goes, "Yeah, man, this guy right here, he wrestled in Florida." And I was like, "No, I didn't." He goes, "Just go along with it." And I go, "All right." He goes, "He wrestled in Florida." And the promoter turns around and goes, "Who do you wrestle?" And I started to name all these guys from Florida.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Okay." He goes, "Then I'm going to book you next week." And I was like, "What does that mean?" He goes, "You're wrestling next week." I go, "Bro, I don't even know how to fucking wrestle." He goes, "Just go in the ring and knock the motherfucker out."
Come on.
I was like, "Really?" And he goes, "Yeah, just go in the ring and knock the guy out." Now, remember, I think wrestling's real. So I don't really know that, I kind of knew something was going on, but I wasn't sure where it was, I was very, still kind of naive. And I was like, "Oh, fuck." I go, "Maybe I could do that. I'll go in, knock a motherfucker out." I go, "But why hasn't it been done before?" So I was like conflicted, And so...
what year is this?
This probably was 87, 88, something like that.
Okay.
And so I'm like, so we get there and my outfit isn't done. So this guy wants me to wear his outfit, which was super whack and it didn't fit me. And I was like, I go, "Bro, what happens if they throw me through the ropes and I fall through the ropes and everybody laughs at me?" He goes, "That's not going to happen because you're going to knock them out." And I go, "But what if it does happen?" I go, "I'm going to be the laughingstock of Tijuana." And he goes, "No, don't worry." He goes, so we get there and I'm in the very first match and they have me announced as the Incredible Hulk. And I'm like, fuck. I actually got nervous, bro, because I thought really this was the only thing that stopped me, Colt, from actually going, who knows what would have happened. I mean, if I would have gone into the dressing room, the guys go, "Oh, well, here I'm going to do this to you and that." And I'm going, "What? I'm just going to knock your bitch ass out." Who knows what would have happened, And so, but I was afraid that I was going to go through the ropes. So I told them, "Look, the only way I'll wrestle," I goes, "if you teach me how to hit the ropes," or whatever terminology I use, because I'm sure I didn't say hit the ropes. Right. So he brings me to a gym and Rey Mysterio Sr. is there, Rey Mysterio Jr.'s uncle. And he was the world champion at that time and he's putting on oil, and he comes up to me and goes, "Are you the guy that wrestled in Florida?" And I go, "No, I've never wrestled." He goes, "And why did you come here?" And you lied. And I go, "Because my manager." "Your manager? You've never wrestled and you have a manager?" "Oh yeah, doesn't everybody?" "No." He goes, "Who the fuck's your manager?" And I go, "John Roberts, the champion." And he turns around and he goes, "That guy's not a champion, he's a fan." Some fan.
Oh, come on.
I was serious. That's how I got into the business. Some fan lied to me, told me he was a wrestler, showed me a gimmicked wrestling thing.
So he was a white guy.
Yeah, he was a white guy.
Okay.
And then later on, I find out that the limp he had, he actually had a prosthetic leg. So this guy but that's how I got into the business.
What a weird fucking thing, man.
Yeah.
So how did he get in the back?
They knew him. He was like a fan that would always go pick up the wrestlers and, pick them up at the airport, take them to the hotel.
There's so many
Joe Fan, right?
There's so many of those guys around, right? Why wouldn't you know?
Yeah.
And they all pretend like,
Fuck, man. So that's been happening forever, the idea of that guy. But he went, did you ever be like 20 years later, were you ever like, why did you do that? Have you ever like talked to him?
No, because he was so into that whole thing. We used to make fun of him because he used to say, I fought. There's a guy in Mexico called Super Raton, which is like in Spanish, it's actually Mighty Mouse. Okay. He used to say, I wrestled Super Raton, because I was actually using him because he would drive me to LA, he'd drive me to Bakersfield. So I'd have to listen to his bullshit stories and kind of go along, because if I kind of broke his bubble, he probably would go into shell shock and never take me anywhere because of the embarrassment. Mm-hmm. So I had to kind of keep the story going, so he would take me everywhere and pay for my shit. So he would say, I fought Super Raton, and then one day I go, well, you know what? I just met Super Raton in Mexico. I'm going to ask him the next time I see him. And he would say, no, it's Mighty Mouse. It's the American version of him, Mighty Mouse. I go, where can I find this Mighty Mouse? He goes, he's in prison now, and he'd always find a way for me not to, and it was just like, and so
he only lets me talk to him.
Yeah, right. So one time he wanted to be my manager and we were in a battle royal. So I told him, I go, when I'm in the ring, John, I want you to come in and I want you to grab a guy. And he got really excited. He goes, all right, yeah. And so I told Rey Mysterio, who at that time had to be maybe 17 years old, I go, when John gets into the ring, I want you to drop kick him until he falls on his ass, make him pay a lesson for trying to be into the wrestling business, And Ray was, man, I can't do that. He's got a bad leg. I go, fuck that. I go, just get him.
Not only does he have a bad leg, he has no leg.
Right. Yeah, but I just wanted to like break his bubble because he just thought wrestling was so easy, Mm-hmm. And so poor Ray, man, I just kept on him until he did it, and he hit him once, he kind of tumbled, he hit him again, and he fucking took a bump, his leg almost came off, and Ray was, I'm sorry, and the guy went out, and I go, you had enough? He goes, no, I'm ready to go in there, and I was like, oh, this guy's never gonna fucking learn.
Then you really have to beat the shit out of him, and you don't want to do that, he's driving you everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So Rey Mysterio Sr. was like, fine, okay, you can be in a match. And then did you beat the fuck out of that guy?
No, what happened was
he taught you the ropes.
Yeah. First, I went with a guy that was in the Marines and another Cuban guy that was in the Navy with me. All three of us went. After 2 weeks, they quit because they were literally trying to make us quit. I mean, I was walking around. I was still in the Navy at that time, so I was in the Navy, and then at night I would go train.
Fit as can be, I'm sure.
Yeah. And I was like fucking. I was a juice head at that time, and I was like in the ship. Dizzy from concussions. They'd fractured my wrist. They'd fractured my hip, but I just wasn't going to quit. Now I was like, you know what? If you think you're going to run me off, you're not. I've been in the service, dog. And so when they saw that I wasn't going to leave, that's when Rey Mysterio goes, all right, I see you got heart and I'm going to help you.
So you did it that first match where you were to beat the fuck out of that guy. That didn't even happen.
Never happened.
That didn't even happen.
No.
Luckily.
Yes.
Luckily, I don't know.
Yes, I don't know. Who knows what would have happened.
Yeah. Guys, this week's show is brought to you in part by Bombas Socks, the most comfortable quality and best fitting socks on the market. The best socks that I own. I wear them at all the shows. If you see me at a show, you'll see me wearing Bombas. When I buy a pair, and when you buy a pair, they will donate a pair to someone in need. Do something good for this earth. Go to bombas.com/lowercase-colt. We have a sponsor for the song of the week, 5-4 Club, basically getting you sweet clothes sent to you on the reg. Here's the deal when it comes to clothes with me. I don't know what to get. I know I should be looking good or at least presentable, but the idea of going out and shopping really frustrates me. I hate it so much. And I know I'm not the only one that thinks this way. I know there's like-minded dudes out there who are listening to this right now. If you have a clothes budget, then this is for you. 5-4 Club is $60 and free shipping. Each club delivery, they send you sweet clothes that are hip, cool, fit your fashion sense. You can pick your sense. I picked casual. That's what I went with. They also have classic, forward, and mix. It's really the perfect way to build up your wardrobe, have options, different seasons, different looks, and not have to shop around and waste your time and come home with something that you don't even want. When they asked to advertise with me, I went on the site and I love the concept. At least just go check out the site. If you dig it, use the promo code COLT. Get 50% off your first month. That's $30 for like $200 worth of clothes. 54club.com. Use that promo code COLT and get 50% off today and start looking good. Sponsor BetDSI.com. Spring and summer means sports. Cubs are off to a great start. Bones Jones is back. Triple Crown, Olympics, USA Soccer at the America's Cup. It's a great time to be a sports fan and an even better time to join BetDSI.com. With an A-plus rating on most review sites and great service, BetDSI offers odds on pretty much everything, including all the sports you know and love. The BetDSI site is quick, mobile access works great, and it's very easy to use. When you got a little something riding on the games, it makes it that much more fun to watch. And because you listen to The Art of Wrestling, BetDSI has a promotion where you can actually try them out for free. Simply sign up at BetDSI.com, use the promo code COLT, and get $10 free play on the many sporting events happening now. Again, use the promo code COLT, and you'll be ready to have some extracurricular fun watching the games when you got a little bit more riding on them. That's BetDSI.com. Hey, BetDSI, I appreciate it. Thanks.